Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Elena, and today I'm going to be doing a huge book haul. I have them all right beside me if I could even pick them up. I'm to the conclusion I'm just a girl deeply obsessed with fairy romance novels. I have 3 different series of them, so I just really like them, I guess. So the first book I want to talk about is the anthology of folk horror, The Gathering Doll. This book is a bunch of small, short stories. I couldn't think of it. I'm sorry. Small stories, whatever. And they all have to do with horror. Why am I so bad at talking? Oh, sorry. But yeah, I already read this one, and I will say none of them had to do with anything folk related, which I was actually really excited about. But I think the cover is really pretty. I would like if someone read this book, if someone can explain to me the last story in the book. I was a little bit lost in it, but they like gather a bunch of different stories. Like they're kind of, I would say, cheesy and a little bit generic. Like there's a haunted doll in one, like a haunted lake in one. You know, kind of feel like basic stuff. Okay, so I have Junji Ito's No Longer Human. This basically, from what I've gathered and explained, it kind of talks about a story from a young boy to a late adult man. Actually, I'd say like probably into his senior years, and it kind of just shows what it's like to be human when you're a people pleaser. And you kind of just go through a story, and I actually read this one, and it's a little bit, it is quite sad. Like the horror, I think, is more focused less on how Junji Ito typically does his horror. It's very graphic. This one, I think, has to do with a lot more on the inside of your head, like mentally and like the ways of life. So I think this one can be a lot more related to in terms of horror. I feel like we all seen it, and I really love the cover. It comes with like a dust jacket, but I took it off just because I was afraid of ruining it. Alright guys, now we've made it to my fairy romance novel portion. I don't even know which one to start with first. Let's start with The Cruel Prince. So I got The Cruel Prince, and you book talk girlies were right. I thought you were lying to me. This book is so good. I love it. I read this whole thing. I'm sorry, I feel like this is a book haul in review, but let me tell you about the book. So basically it's about a girl named Jude and her twin sister, and then her older sister. Why am I blanking on their names? Jude and Taryn and Vicky, there we go. And basically they get captured away to live in the fairy realm because one of their siblings is half fae, so they claim them. And it has to do with Jude kind of wanting to find her place amongst the fae in court, and instead of just wanting to, like, what's the word, like just like lay low, she wants to make a name for herself and stuff. So it has to do with a lot with that. And it has to do with Caden, the young prince. I should just be reading the back to you instead of just trying to like ramble on. I just really like the book. I don't know. But she wants to win her place at court, and like it's just so good. And then of course I got the second one. I haven't even read the second one yet because I was trying to read a lot more horror novels since it was just October. But I just want to read this book so bad. So this one, it's a continuation of this one. I don't want to say too much because I don't know about it. But it has to do with like the High Court, which I'm really excited about. Okay, next fairy series, I have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and then I have Emily Wilde's Map of Other Lands. This book takes place in the 1800s with Professor Emily Wilde. She's a Cambridge professor, and basically, as it says, she studies fairies. So she goes to, what was the place? She goes to this place to study fairies. It has a lot of fairy lore and stuff in here as well. But there's Wendell Bambley, which is her like academic, not rival, but he clearly likes her, but she doesn't like him. I feel like people didn't really like this book. I think it might be a little bit too slow for them. But what I really liked about this book compared to other fairy books is that it actually has fairy lore in here. Like, I didn't know a lot about stuff like the inside out trick. Apparently, to like not to ward off fairies in a way, you like switch something. What am I saying? You inside out your jacket or article of clothing that you have, and you won't be under their spell, which I didn't even know that. And I don't know, there's like this little thing called Poe in here, and he's so cute. Yeah, and I think the second book, it says when mysterious fairies from far other realms appear at her university, commodiously, Professor Emily Wilde must uncover their secrets before it's too late in this heartwarming, enchanted second installment of Emily Wilde series. So it's just a continuation of this book. Okay, so the last two books I have to show you are the Sarah J. Maas Crescent City books. I have the second and third one here. The second one's actually my sister's. I read the first one on audio. Basically, I don't know if you know this, but if you have a library in your town, there's this thing called Hoopla, I think, for everyone, and you get to listen to books for free because of your library card. So I read the first one there, and I read the dramatized adaptations, which is really weird because it is like a movie in your ear. But when it gets to the dirty scenes, it gets a little uncomfortable to be trying to work around people and then having to listen to that. So I just hit fast forward. But I read the first half of this on Audible as well, and then I read it in the second half. So basically, if you don't know about the Crescent City series, it follows the main character, Bryce Quinlan, and Hunt Athalar. So Bryce Quinlan is half fae, half mortal. Half fae, half human. And she basically goes on trying to solve the case of her dead best friend alongside Hunt Athalar, who was an angel. What I really like about this series, it's almost modern day, and it has every mythological creature possible in the stories. So like you get to like understand like how it's basically, I feel like they would describe it as like New York City for mythical creatures. And also, if you're a big fan of other Sarah J. Maas books like ACOTAR or Throne of Glass, they all connect into these books. So like if you read the second one, you know why I'm really excited for the third one. Also, Barnes & Noble lied to me. This wasn't $5 off. I don't know why it was there. I paid full price. But yeah, I don't know. They're big books, but I think like the way they're written is very easy to read. Like I have an issue with space when it comes to reading. Like if the print is too small, I can't read it for some reason. I don't know why. Like I've never been able to read Fourth Wing or the second Fourth Wing book. I'm blanking on the title because I just think the print is too small. But even though it's a big book, I think the print is really easy to read. So I actually want to talk about my most recent read. It's called Vanilla by Mona Kambani, I want to say. I just thought this book was kind of boring. I really wanted to love it, but it does play into the idea of what becomes of an innocent creature with no outwardly experience and how they transition into prey. But I do want to... Oh my god! I didn't realize I had it signed. I bought this book years ago. I don't hate it, but like, just don't... I don't know, but I really want to read you the quotes at the beginning of the book. The first one, it says, "Love has no age, no limit, and no death. John Galsworthy." And then, "Love does not claim possession, but gives freedom." Rabindranath... I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher their name. What? And then, I'll put it down below. And then the last one, it says, "Let me tell you that the children from their very birth are born to evil. Satan seems to have control of them. He seems to take possession of their young minds, and they are corrupted. Why do fathers and mothers act as though a lethargy was upon them? They do not mistrust Satan is sowing evil seeds in their families." Ellen G. White. And I think that actually is the last quote. Pretty much, I feel like, describes the book. The devil basically gets a little girl and he loves her. Her name is Vanilla, is the title, and he does anything for her, even if it turns her into evil. So I think that is an interesting... Like, this book, I think, is a lot more thought processing than it is, like, plot driven, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm gonna say goodbye. This was fun. I always feel weird filming myself on camera, so I think I come off across a little different. But I just want to say thank you for watching. I'll put my socials down below. If you want to subscribe, let me know what other ideas you have for videos, because I have a couple ideas, but I don't know if people will be interested. But if you read any of these books, please tell me. I really love them. I want to chat more about The Cruel Prince and then Emily Wilds, because Caden and Wendell and even Locke, I know Locke has done so wrong, if you know what I'm talking about. I love them and I can't help it. I need someone to talk about these with. Bye!